Hello friends, this is Worm, and today I wanted to test Consecration to see how much of a nerf it's actually getting. Of course, if you missed it, Consecration is getting a 55% damage nerf to its initial wave impact as well as its secondary wave impact in Destiny 2, which means its ignition damage is not changing and the scorch damage is not changing, but just those initial two hits are changing. And I've seen a lot of people saying that Consecration is now dead, and I don't think it's going to be dead because it has a lot of utility outside of just being a high damage dealer. But in order to do this damage testing, first of all, I wanted to point out, I took off anything that could potentially negatively affect my melee damage. I wanted raw numbers, so no armor pieces. On my subclass here, I only have Consecration, no fragments, no other aspects. As well, I am using Monte Carlo just so I can get my melee back a little bit quicker for testing purposes. And then, of course, I'm using tier 10 strength, tier 10 resilience, pretty standard on the build. But with that being said, let's get in here and let's see what the actual numbers look like for Consecration. So as we can see here, that initial wave hits for 4343, so 4,343 damage. And then when we come back down after that, it's going to hit for 50,694 damage. Now, ignore the yellow numbers. These are all like scorch damage numbers. Like, we're just talking about the initial wave impact. So the first number, 4343, then 50,694. These numbers are the two that are getting reduced. Now, when you add these two numbers up, you get a total impact damage of 55,037. Remember, this is not including the ignition or the scorch. This is just the two waves of impact. So now that we have the current damage totals, let's actually subtract the 55% from each of our wave impact numbers. So 4,343 minus 55% is going to drop down to 1,954.35. That's going to be the initial wave. The secondary wave is going to drop down from 50,694 to 22,812.3 for a total damage of 24,766.65. And again, with the rounding in here, like, I'm including the rounding, even though Bungie numbers are probably already rounded, so these aren't going to be like the perfect numbers, but they're going to be pretty close. Now let's go ahead and take a look at the ignition damage, which, as you can see here, is 43,452. That means for our current sandbox, the total damage of Consecration, excluding the overall scorch damage, is going to be 98,489. Now, once we apply the nerfed numbers, we will get a post-nerf damage of 68,218.65. So the damage is going from 98,489 down to 68,218, which in terms of a total percentage nerf, this is a total of about 30.735% nerf. So Consecration, Bungie makes it sound like Consecrations get this major nerf of 55%. Its overall nerf is actually only going to be about 30%. And again, this is without any aspects or fragments affecting anything. So you can still build into Solar to increase the damage of your ignitions, increasing, you know, the amount of time the target stays scorched. So these numbers are a little bit variable depending on your build, but Consecration definitely not getting as big of a nerf as it looks like on paper. Like 30% is still a lot. But again, like we talked about earlier, Consecration has utility outside of just being a lot of damage. Like, red scorch through your ignitions, you can pair it with a lot of different fragments to build into the solar aspect. So I don't think the nerf is going to be quite as damaging as people are saying it is. It's not going to be dead. My opinion on this nerf, I really think this was geared straight towards Prismatic, and unfortunately it's going to affect Solar, Sunbreaker more than anything else. Yes, with Prismatic, you're going to be able to do less damage by spamming Transcendence and 3 Consecration times, but at the same time, the real downside of this nerf is that it's going to be happening to Sunbreakers. So Sunbreaker's damage is going to be lowered pretty substantially, which is unfortunate. But with that being said, those are the total numbers. That's how much of a nerf it's getting, only about 30%, which is kind of nice. You know, it's not as scary when you put it on paper, but that's still a pretty big nerf. So yeah, with that being said though, hope you enjoyed today's videos. Hope you like the number breakdowns. Hopefully this helps you determine where you're going to go with your build in the future. If it does, please drop a like, helps the channel a lot. Subscribe for more daily Destiny content, conversations, debates, discussions, all that good stuff. And guys, do me a favor, watch the videos you see here on the end screen, because for whatever reason, YouTube thinks you'll like them. I will see you all next time. Bye for now.